sponsor, giám đốc bên bán hàng của đối tác chiến lược của Telcom. So now let's move to the topic, prospect of Australian real estate market and opportunities for investors, presented by me, the CMO Chester, Director, Channel Sales, Strategic Partnership, Telcom Vietnam.
Thank you everyone, just bear with me for 1 second as while I load up the presentation.
Ông Simon sẽ trình bày bằng tiếng Anh nên là quý vị có thể kiểm tra tai nghe, nếu như mà tai nghe của ai không hoạt động thì có thể giơ tay để bộ phận thư ký hỗ trợ chuyển tai nghe cho quý vị ạ. Xin cảm ơn.
Okay, thank you everyone, good morning, and thank you for coming along today to learn a little bit more about the company I work for, Geocon, and also Canberra and the Canberra market. For the next half an hour or so, I'll take you through both Geocon, what we do, who we are, and the Canberra market, as well as some of the benefits of investing into Canberra. I do have copies of my presentation and some brochures of one of the projects we'll be looking at today on USB sticks, which I'll be handing out to everyone at the conclusion of today. And also feel free in the break to come up and ask me any questions that you may have. So I'll provide everything on a USB stick. I'll just put straight in. There we go. So hopefully this should play a little video.
Building Canberra is what we do. We are building places for people to live, to visit, to experience. They are cutting edge, they are progressive, and they are ambitious. They are putting Canberra on the map and being part of the driving force behind the international city that Canberra's become.
There is enormous energy with Geocon and the possibilities are fantastic. They're aiming to create a legacy for Canberra, a meaningful built environment, and we're excited to be part of that with them.
Not only can we do it well in Canberra, but we can do it better in Canberra.
We see number 10 as being a real stepping stone for what's in store for Abode and Geocon. We've got a major operation in Brad. We've got 3 venues, including restaurant, cafe and bar. There's other opportunities, including Republic, which has one of the biggest F&B areas in Canberra. It will really allow Canberrans and people visiting Canberra to experience what we're all about and some of the great things that we have available.
Geocon has absolutely delivered a new way of living. It's beautiful, it's designed well, it's functional, it's efficient, and it's got flair and charisma.
Canberra is a young city and there's a huge opportunity for capital growth. Compared with property prices in other major cities, you could buy 2 apartments in Canberra for the price of 1 elsewhere. This is extremely appealing for investors. Coupled with low interest rates, growing population, and strong demand for convenient inner city living, the apartment market in Canberra is booming.
The experience of purchasing through Geocon was fabulous, very straightforward. I've already bought 2 more properties through Geocon. I've actually bought in Republic. It will be completed in June 2019.
Canberra's just going to continue to be the coolest little capital in the world. There's amazing restaurants, there's amazing bars, there's a nightlife. People want to be in the city, they actually love the vibrancy. It's intimate, but it's grand.
We've raised the bar in Canberra with the delivery of major infrastructure projects, the Northbourne Avenue precinct and the Light Rail corridor, an international airport. Geocon can see the potential and prosperity in Canberra. We are trailblazers. We have amassed a pipeline of 3,000 dwellings and currently have 1,500 apartments under construction. We're going to bring a brand new 5-star hotel brand to the ACT in the Parliamentary Triangle, in the city centre, in Kingston Arts Precinct. Will offer unparalleled, luxurious commercial accommodation for everyone in Australia to appreciate and enjoy.
So you would have seen in that video not only the apartments that we are doing, but also our hotel and hospitality offerings. We are the largest property developer in Canberra with a 60% market share. We're also the largest hotel operator in Canberra with 7 hotels and another 5 under construction. And last month we launched the first Marriott hotel in Canberra, which we own and operate under a partnership with the Marriott Group. So a little bit about Canberra. The map of Canberra here. This is the north of Canberra, and all the little black dots are where we have projects. So you can see we have many projects, some that have completed, some that are about to launch, some that have launched, and we'll look at one of them in more detail at the end of this presentation. Canberra is about the same size as Singapore in terms of the actual size of the land, so it's not a huge jurisdiction, and the border around Canberra is New South Wales. So the shortage of land in Canberra is one of the big driving forces behind the apartment market and why we are purely focused in Canberra and nowhere else for the time being. And you'll see some of those stats later in the presentation. So from the north here, Canberra's broken up into 5 town centres: Tuggeranong, Belconnen, the CBD, Woden and Tuggeranong. Sydney up here is about a 2.5–3 hour drive, and then you have Melbourne down here, which is about a 6-hour drive. And you would have seen on the presentation that we now have international flights, so we're a lot more connected than we used to be. Some of our projects. So we completed this one about 1.5 years ago. 370 apartments in Gungahlin in the north. This one about 3 years ago, 300 and something apartments down in Tuggeranong. This was our very first big high-rise project, currently the tallest residential tower in Canberra at 88 metres. But as you'll see shortly, we are building one much taller than that. This is a project that we'll take to market next year. It's in Woden, about 10 minutes from the CBD, and that will be 4 towers with about 3,000 square metres of retail. Garima Place. So this will be one of our new 5-star hotels. We'll start construction in January. It will either be an iconic hotel, which is our hotel brand, or it may follow the path that we did with Marriott and it may become a W hotel or a St. Regis hotel. Time will tell on that one. This is probably our most iconic hotel project, West Block. It's situated 200 metres from the front door of Parliament House, and we are the only private company in the history of Australia that has ever privately owned land within the Parliamentary Triangle. So this will be the premier hotel in Canberra once it launches in 2 years' time. A very significant and heritage listed building. Kingston Arts Precinct, just short of $1 billion precinct that we created in Kingston on the other side of the city down by the lake. This will have 700 apartments, 500 room hotel, and also many commercial retail space as well. An overview of the projects that we have on the market at the moment, and again we'll focus on one, our most recent release at the end, but all of these are available. We often have people that want something near the Australian National University or the University of Canberra. Because of our size and our pipeline, we have projects everywhere. This is our CBD project. So 3 buildings, Metropole, Tristan, Envy, which we'll see shortly. Canberra CBD right here. You've got the Australian National University, about a 5-minute walk away. The University of New South Wales is opening a new campus over here next year with 10,000 students. You've got the casino, and also in the CBD you've got a few federal government departments, but mainly the private sector, the law firms, the PwC, Ernst & Young, those sort of companies are in the Canberra CBD. You'll see that in Canberra the CBD heights are not very tall. There is a 14-level restriction of height in Canberra City, and the reason being, let's see it here, when we see one of the images with Parliament House, no building in Canberra CBD can be taller than the flag on top of Parliament House. So it's quite an interesting dynamic. It just means in the city it's all a little bit lower, and then when you get out into the regions you can be a bit higher. So 14 levels is the limit in the CBD. The other 2 projects that are part of this are Trist and Envy, and they're our 3 major CBD projects. Republic. This is the biggest project we've done to date. 5 buildings, 1,600 apartments, right opposite the University of Canberra, the fastest growing university in Australia. I forgot to mention on the previous slide, in the city, Australian National University, #1 university in Australia in the rankings, and the only Australian university in the world's top 20. Whereas the University of Canberra, where I graduated, is the fastest growing university in Australia, with a big focus on international students. So we have our completed project here, which we completed 3 years ago, and now we're building 1,600 apartments here. First 2 stages are due to settle in January, February next year, and across those 500 there might be 20 or 30 left. And then we have 2 tall towers, the tallest towers in Canberra, which we'll have a look at shortly, and then another stage that we'll take to market next year. Belconnen's the biggest of the regional areas. It's where I live. My house is just over here in the suburbs. But Belconnen is home to some of the big federal government departments, Department of Immigration, Department of Bureau of Statistics, Communications. You also have the biggest Westfield shopping centre in Canberra and Belconnen. You're only about a 8 to 10 minute drive to the CBD. And it is, you've got the CBD, which is just over here, so it's not very far at all. And the University of Canberra is a real big driver of this area. Goldman Sachs, the biggest property deal they have done in Australia ever, is financing this building, and they're now starting to do more and more with us. So it's a good vote of confidence, not only for Geocon, but a good vote of confidence for Canberra that a brand like Goldman Sachs will partner with us on this project, and many more projects to come. High society. So as I said, this is currently the tallest residential tower in Canberra, which we built, 88 metres. This will be double that, twice the size, so it will be quite an iconic building. 700 apartments, glass building, glass facade, high level of amenity, concierge, rooftop bar. There's a hotel as part of this precinct. This is the project that we have sold the most internationally. It appealed very much to Hong Kong, Singapore, Chinese buyers, they're the countries that we have focused on so far. And we've got about 100 or so left in there. And then there'll be a final stage next to that, which we'll take to market next year. Alpine Village, so this is the opposite end of Canberra, 20 minutes from the CBD, and it's our entry-level price point in terms of square metres. Tuggeranong is a very interesting dynamic. There is no more land available for development in Tuggeranong, so this is the last apartment block that you'll see for some time. And the main economic factors driving Tuggeranong are the big, mega federal government departments. Department of Social Services, Department of Human Services. So these two departments alone look after all of Australia's Centrelink, Medicare, all of that major infrastructure is done out of Tuggeranong. So you see a lot of contractors, government contractors coming in and out to complete the work. Again, only 20 minutes from the CBD, and the project in focus today, because we would be here all day if I took you through all of them in detail, is the new stage in this, which we only launched last week. Establishment. So one of the projects you saw was our 370 apartments that we completed there last year. Establishment's another one we had in Gungahlin. Gungahlin is up closer to Sydney. Again, 20 minutes to the CBD. And when you see the light rail project shortly, stage 1 of Canberra's light rail links Gungahlin to the city, and now the light rail is starting to expand out into other areas of Canberra. This is the fastest growing region in Canberra because it's the only area where there is some land still available for development, but not a lot. A lot of this is privately held farmland. So yeah, it's the main area of growth in Canberra is in this. Woden is a similar distance to the city as Belconnen, about 10 minutes, and stage 2 of the light rail is linking up the city, which is just over here, into Woden. Woden's got the hospital, again a lot of federal government departments, a Westfield, and quite close into the CBD. So we have a project there, and then another project that will launch there next year. So, a few of the demographics of Canberra. 1 million people in the region. So the population of Canberra is 500,000, but within the region, so people that come in to use hospitals, airports, all those different government services, you've got 1 million people within a 90-minute drive. Fastest population growth of anywhere in Australia, on par with Victoria, very similar sort of rates to Victoria, and a very diverse culture. So over a third of those Canberra residents were born overseas, which is the highest of anywhere in Australia. It's a very, very high number, where the national average sits more around 20%. In terms of our economy, we're the fastest growing economy and the most secure economy of anywhere in Australia. This presentation was done 3 months ago, and our vacancy rate has dropped even further to 0.5%. Very, very hard to get a rental property in Canberra, virtually impossible, and in some areas it's even lower than 0.5%. And our average yields are 5.6%, but again, in certain areas, that 5.6 might be about 5.4 in Gungahlin, but in Tuggeranong it's 7.1, and in Belconnen it's 6.3. So that's the average, but again, higher in other areas. The federal government makes Canberra a very secure investment. Half of the population works for the federal government, which means that they are immune to global financial crises, all these things that can impact the private sector. The government grows. Year on year it grows. The government workers get their pay increases each year. They're in a very, very stable industry, and Canberra's economy really benefits from those people working for the federal government. Low unemployment, and on the back of all these government workers, the highest average salaries of anywhere in Australia, significantly more than Melbourne and Sydney. Canberrans earn $300 a week more than those in Melbourne, and $200 a week more than those in Sydney, off the back of federal government employment. We're a very big education town. 63,000 students, 12,000 of those international, and the international numbers are growing. We have 5 universities that are ranked in Australia's top 150, and as I mentioned, ANU being #1 in Australia, and the University of Canberra the fastest growing. 1 in 6 Canberrans either study or work in education, and it's a sector that's growing. The University of New South Wales currently has a campus with 1,000 students, and it's growing to 10,000 students in the next 12 months. In terms of lifestyle, a lot of open space. And when I say open space, it's not open space for development, it's national parks, it's areas that can't be developed on, and it's, you know, a good place to live in comparison to Sydney or Melbourne. If you have children, you can get around very easily. Lots of areas to ride your bike, lots of sunshine. The biggest ever infrastructure project in Canberra's history is the light rail. We'll see that shortly. Stage 1 is complete and stage 2 is now underway, and that will roll out over time. 30 minutes to everywhere. So from the north to the south, the east to the west, it's very easy to get around. And now with international flights, direct to Singapore, Doha and Wellington, with more on the way, it's a very connected city. On the back of the high disposable incomes and the wealthiest people in Australia, you have lots of vineyards. We now have 13 chef hat restaurants that are coming into Canberra to capitalise on these people with money to spend. And so it's now much more of a vibrant place than it was 10 or 15 years ago. And there's no shortage of entertainment with lots of national sporting teams and over 50 museums and galleries, which is a big driver of tourism. And obviously on the back of having an international airport, those tourism numbers are growing significantly. One of the biggest boosts we had was in 2018 when Lonely Planet rated Canberra the 3rd best city in the world to visit. We saw a big boost in tourism numbers off the back of that, but certainly the international flights are helping. And then industry, you know, government and education are the big ones, but there's 25,000 private companies in Canberra. And a lot of those businesses are there to service government, but there's a lot of innovation hubs and you know, think tanks and whatnot that are popping up in Canberra. How does it compare? So this slide is slightly out of date, I will apologise. As I said, this is now 0.5%, but when you look at ACT, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia and Queensland, we're looking at the capitals here, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Brisbane. This just gives you a little bit of a comparison about how Canberra compares. So the lowest vacancy rate, the highest yields, and this is probably the point where we have the most success in international markets. 0% surcharge for foreign buyers. So your buyers in Vietnam, Thailand, China, wherever, they will pay the same tax that I pay as a local citizen that as an Australian resident pay. There's no surcharge. Canberra welcomes foreign investment, and so we're not restricting that. And our stamp duty is already low. So based on a $500,000 apartment purchase, you